Good day, everyone, and a warm welcome to our system webinar for Wednesday afternoon. We haven't had this for a while, so it's great to see that you can join us. We've got some new and exciting things installed this afternoon. My name is Lizette de Villiers. I will be the host of the presentation and to take you through all the exciting things that we made live recently on the system. Just for those that are maybe joining for the first time, you will see that your microphone currently is in the forced mute setting. It will remain like that for the duration of the webinar, and towards the end we will definitely not fill the entire hour. Towards the end we will enable the setting for you to unmute your microphone, and you are then welcome to ask questions, whether it's related to what we demonstrate today or anything else related to the Shadowmatch or the skills grid system. You are welcome to ask your questions. You would have noticed that we are recording the session. We use the recording for training videos. We obviously won't expose you when you ask questions. We will probably cut that part of the recording, but we use the recording for training videos and also for the need help functionality that you are all hopefully aware of. That's part of the Shadowmatch system. Please make use of the chat. You're welcome if you want to post a question in the chat during the course of the demonstration. You're welcome to do that. I will either answer, and if I think that it's needed to also make that part of the recording, then I will pose that question to Suzanne at the end of the presentation, or I will just then answer live so that we can make that part of the recording. I think at this stage I can hand to Suzanne. Suzanne, thank you very much. We're looking forward to the presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Lizette. A warm welcome, and just a comment. You don't have to stress, you don't have to worry. This is going to be a nice session with valuable content for you. So you're ending your workday, if you're in South Africa, on a positive note. If you're somewhere else, you're starting off your day on a positive note. It's not a meeting to stress about. It's just some exciting content to look forward to. So today what we're going to do is I'm just going to share with you the new look and feel of our personal portal. So I'll explain exactly what it is when we jump in, but we've recently updated the look and the feel, the navigation, so it's very nice and user-friendly, and there's a few enhanced features that I'll showcase you. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to introduce a great new product that we launched yesterday. It went live yesterday. The product's name is Stressmapper, and it's also then part of the personal portal. So just a nice foundation discussion. So if you're a user of Shadowmatch, this is a great, a recap for you of what is this all about. If you're brand new to the system, I'm very excited for you, because this is you're gonna be blown away of the value that you see on this one interactive portal for a person who has completed the Shadowmatch worksheet. Okay, so let me jump in. So when someone completes the Shadowmatch worksheet, they then have access to a personal portal. As the name implies, it's personal, so only they have access to it. If they were invited by a company or organization to complete the Shadowmatch worksheet, that organization does not have access to it. It's simply the individual, their own access to it. If you've completed Shadowmatch in your personal capacity, then obviously the same applies. It's only your access. How do you access the personal portal? By logging in with your email address and the password you created. Let me show you what this looks like live. So I'm obviously using a fictitious individual's portal today that we can look at all the data. But this individual, they are based in South Africa, so they go to shadowmatch.co.za. Wherever you're based globally, your URL will automatically have your shadowmatch.us or wherever you are based. But you go to the same site where you completed the worksheet, shadowmatch.co.za here, and then you simply complete the email address you use to complete the Shadowmatch worksheet. So you just put that in the file in the field in there, and then it's going to ask you for your password. If you created your password at the end of your worksheet, then you'll know what to do here. If you haven't created your password, you can then create your password the first time. It'll give you the option here, or you can follow the forgot your password link, and then it will trigger an email. And we all know that process with all the millions of passwords we have these days. You can also log in with your Google account. It's very funky, but this is the standard format where you use your email and your unique password to get into your personal portal. So on the screen, I am Tanya for today. So this is Tanya's personal portal. So I'm welcome to your personal portal, Tanya Goldman. And now I have access to all of the areas and reports and functions that the Shadowmatch world provides for me. Now, the foundation of all of this would be my Shadowmatch personal results, my habit report. So you'll see we've focused it in these specific icons here. So in each of these icons, a world of value opens. Let's take them step by step. So as I said, the first one is my habits, understanding my habits. If I click on my habits, if I have completed the Shadowmatch worksheet, I would then have access to my full report here. So it's already open. I completed the worksheet whenever, and here would be my results. And as you know of Shadowmatch, this would be unique to me. We have millions of people on the system, and we have millions of unique results, because the habit profile you see there would be unique for that specific individual. There isn't a training session for that, but what am I seeing? I would see the unique intensities for the specific behavioral patterns in my life. So how do I operate? And you'll see this graph is very interactive. It's the report that I received upon completion in an interactive format. So if I click on, let's say, innovation, it would open up that part of the report explaining to me what does the habit of innovation mean, and what is my unique preference in this? What is my unique intensity in that? I can understand the specific categories of how the habits are measured, all the way from planned behaviors up into radical habits. So all of this is explained in the report, and yeah, I have a nice interactive view. So at a click of a button, I can understand my unique behavioral patterns or my unique habits, how I approach the world. There's a nice option if I want to view the habits in a different graph. I can simply click that selected there, and now it's exactly the same score, just shown in a different visual format. If you prefer to look at it this way, simply click the selector. If you want to go back to that bar graph, you can switch again. So underneath the little icons that says habits, I find my Shadowmatch results explaining my habits. If I haven't completed the Shadowmatch report yet, or the Shadowmatch worksheet, I would have the option here to then go to that, and that screen would not obviously have results yet. But now I have completed it in this demo one, so I have the results there. And what is nice is I have nice resources in each of these sections that explain that specific section to me. So underneath my habit section, I have a video that helps me to understand my report. It's written in very easy language. By reading it, I would be able to understand it. But here's a nice video resources helping me to, when I'm focusing in on this section of my report, what does it mean? How do I interpret the graphs? And I get the immediate value to me. So that's our first section, understanding my habits. Now let's go on, and you see if I switch the view, our main menu items now just switch to the top there, so I can easily navigate between them, switch and go as I need to go, or obviously I can go back to my home screen and navigate from there. Our next area would now be career. So underneath career, I would then have access to my career report. The same applies. If I have requested the career report, it would automatically open here. I can download it, I can email it. If I haven't completed a career report, it would explain to me what a career report is, and I then have the option to activate that report there. In my demo site, I have an open career report. What is the career report? So a career report is a bespoke report for an individual. What I mean by this is it's customized and based on the individual's unique habits, and the report informs that individual's career journey. So wherever I am in my career, be it I'm just finishing off school, so I need to decide where am I going from here, or I've been in my career for 25 years, or I'm ending off a career, going into retirement, wherever I am in the journey, the report will be of value to me because it's guiding me based on my unique habits. What should be the specific, unique building blocks that should be part of my career? So we can just quickly take a look at the few sections. The report is Industry 4 enabled, so it helps us to guide this career journey in a sustainable way. To say, I'm not guiding you to do something that's going to be irrelevant in 2 years' time. It's guiding you to understand what is the world of work going towards and where do you fit in with this. The style of the report is each of these sections would have a nice explainer video. So if you click on that button, it opens up the video explaining that section, all of them very short, 2 minutes, 3 minutes max, explaining that section of the video. So different styles of the information being communicated to me as the reader of the report. I can watch the video and then read the wording is the part. It's not generic. So your report is going to look different than the person next to you because your habits are different and your career journey therefore would be different. So each of the sections, we've touched on the Industry 4 section. Then it takes the focused approach on the specific habit areas and things that would inform your career journey. So this one, for instance, is the broad focus of your career. If I open up there, it would open up the video. If I click on this, it's going to show you my unique position in this. This section, for instance, shows the balance between working with people, working with objects and tasks, working with ideas. If you're familiar with Shadowmatch, you would know we don't box people and say you're this type of person, this type of person. It's the entire continuum in between. So you can be at any point in here, and the report would include that to say, okay, is one of these graphs very strong to the one side, or two of these graphs strong to the one side, or they're all at the same point. Whatever that unique combination would be here, your report would explain exactly to you, what does that mean? So in planning your career journey, make sure this would be part of the process. So basically what the career report enables the person to do is it makes them an active participant in their career crafting. So be it deciding what I want to do, or be it where am I now? I'm maybe in the same position in a company, but I want to go to that next level. How do I practically do that? So what should I be including in my day? What should the setup be? How should the context be for me to optimally reach success? Just an example, for instance, if you think about someone that's deciding to study medicine, they decide to study medicine, but the career report will craft that. What does that look like? Should I be opening up my own practice at the end? So basically, I'm a business owner. I'm taking ownership, and I have a team around me. Or is that not going to work for my habits? In the area of medicine, should I maybe then go into, let's say, a hospital setup where I'm part of a staff, I'm part of a network, maybe in research in medicine? The whole spectrum of the things, it will guide you. So it's not just going to say, go and study medicine because you have good marks at the end of matric. It's actually going to give you valuable insight to understand your unique journey. Okay, so let's just quickly scroll down to the other sections: the stable and dynamic content of the career, the practical and theoretical content, and obviously each of these sections, as you've seen, has a video and your unique score for that. Complexity index of the career, and then at the bottom it has important career tips applicable to you. So this once again isn't generic. This is informed by your unique habits to say which of these habits are critical to be part of your planning in your career, and which of these habits shouldn't have a big focus. So it exactly explains to you where your unique position in this is. Now, this career report has amazing features, like you can test careers, you can download a template here to create your own map. So it downloads a map, and you can then actively, all of these things that the report inform you, you can work on this to craft the journey where you want to go towards. You can test potential careers to say, listen, if I'm now a lawyer, am I going to be a lawyer in a small firm in this area, whatever the career is I'm testing, you can real-time test that to say, how do my unique habits compare to the demands of that specific career? I have access to all of this under my careers tab, under my career report. So nice and interactive videos, all of the data I need easily explained to me. That's our career report section. Now we move on to our study report. So the same as with the career report, a study report would be informed by an individual's unique habits. So the report would be different for every individual out there. And the study report guides my study journey. So which study method would suit my unique habits the best? So a lot of value here for obviously any student or any adult studying. So it's not just students or high school learners. Anybody embarking in a studying or learning setup, this will guide me on how do I actually do this. It will give me insight into my unique study method. It also focuses on specific subjects, like here we have mathematics, stats. How do I focus on this? What is my optimal practical study method? And once again, there's an awesome video that explains that. So it explains my unique study method, and then obviously the words supporting that, explaining it in more detail to me. You would have 2 study methods for each individual, and then once again, unique tips to keep in mind for your own habits, thinking about at the bottom, if you scroll down, you'll see there's tips, what you should keep in mind, and then distance learning, emergency exam preps, how to write things. It's amazing content. I wish I had this when I was studying. This is amazing, and it's awesome that it's unique to the individual. Now, just a quick comment, and maybe it's a good time just to pause for a moment. You'll see all of these areas are different areas of life. So you might be sitting on the screen saying, listen, but I'm not studying at this point. Why is she telling me about a study report? But remember, the various people in your life, your loved ones, your colleagues, your network of friends and family members and whoever, they might be in that journey. So you understanding the Shadowmatch personal portal allows you to be informed to say, listen, okay, next time someone tells me, listen, I'm struggling with this, or someone is currently in their career path at this point, then listen, I should just tell them, just go and do Shadowmatch, or just go and do Skills Grid, or just go and do Stressmapper. By linking them to a personal portal, it gives them the opportunity to embark on each of these journeys. Okay, we have discussed the study report. Now we go to Skills Grid. Now, Skills Grid is a separate worksheet, but it then measures a separate facet of an individual. So the habit report, the career report, the study report, all linked to my habits. So that's the construct that informs it. Skills Grid is a shorter worksheet that gives me access to a visual display of my current skills. So this is an amazing thing to work with for my own development in saying, okay, but where am I? Have I met my skills? Do I know what my current skill set is? If I'm now applying for a job, imagine including this with your resume to say, listen, this is me. This is my skill set. This is where I'm an expert at. This is where I'm, basically skilled. All of the details. So what you see visually here would be a unique individual skills grid. Yours would obviously look different. And then how you read the graph is each of the blocks would have a skills level to say, am I no or limited skilled in this area, all the way up to expert. And then in each of the skills areas we measure, if you look around the circle here, there's 25 different skills area, all the way from coaching and mentoring, verbal skills, musical skills, the whole spectrum of skills. There would be sub-skills measured as well. So in the worksheet, I would be asked to rate myself for that specific skill. The system then sees, okay, great. If you said you're skilled or higher, let's get the details. Then you mark yourself on the sub-skills here, and you would give the complete picture to say, listen, if we're focusing on computer literacy, this is me. This is what I can do. This is where I'm an expert at, where I'm basically skilled at, and all of the other skills the same way. So the personal capacity skills grid is an amazing way to understand your skills. You have that map to say, okay, where am I going to develop? What am I working towards? If I want to get this skill level 2 there, what's my game plan? Where do I start? I have that visual map. And then obviously it's a great add-on to a resume to see, this is my habits, this is me, this is my skills, this is what I can do. And the resume would say, what's your experience? Okay, so that's then skills grid. Now our next section is the personal development program. So in short, we call it PDPs. And these are programs that help an individual to develop a specific habit. So at this point, I don't have a PDP active. If I get to this section on my personal portal and nothing is active yet, it explains to me, what are PDPs? Well, how do they work? What are these programs? And then if I click on the embark on a PDP, I can see all of the different programs. Before I click on it, let me explain to you what it is. A personal development program is the game plan of how do I actually develop a habit. So we have 20 different programs. They are for all 19 of the habits measured by the Shadowmatch worksheet, as well as time management. So you'll see all the way from altruism, leadership, innovation, propensity to change, the entire spectrum of habits measured by the Shadowmatch worksheet. Now, what happens if I open up the program? It's going to give me a process to follow, broken up into phases, into how do I actually develop this habit? How do I build the neuron pathway that this habit becomes fitter, that it becomes more comfortable to call on, and it's an automated behavior, basically. Now, we did the hard work to make sure it's vetted and reliable, to say, listen, if you do this, we know the development will happen. So you don't have to stress and say, listen, but where on earth am I going to start to develop leadership or resilience? But where do I start? Do I read a book? Do I do this? That's what the PDP is. It's already done all of that research. And now you can just click and you can just start. You can actually then start this afternoon or start tomorrow and do the development. So if you also, you know the world of Shadowmatch, be very action focused to say, do something, do something. And this program actually tells you what should you do, broken up into phases. Now, how it works is you would do this program with a mentor. The mentor is that person that keeps you accountable and just walks this journey with you. The good news is the mentor doesn't have to be good in the specific habit. So you don't have to say, oh, where am I going to find someone that's good in innovation or leadership? Not at all, because they don't have to craft the content of the program. That's already there. That mentor is just that someone that keeps you accountable, because we know how we work. If you put something else to your to-do list, very few of us actually tackle it if no one is checking up on us. But the mentor is that person that says, well done, give me phase 2 in 2 weeks' time. When we get to the coaching, we'll chat about if you want to take this to the next level, but this is in personal capacity if you want to embark on a personal development journey. The last thing I want to comment here is, do you see one of them has a little star there? I think more than one is. At the top, it will say your recommended PDPs are then highlighted. So what happens here is the system takes your unique habit profile into consideration, and it would recommend a development journey for you to embark on based on your unique profile. If this is linked to a company, other things would inform this journey as well. But for a personal individual, it will still give you a recommendation to say, we would recommend embarking on this journey. Obviously, you can still embark on any of the programs as per your choice. Okay, so that's the PDPs. Now, if a PDP is active and I am a mentor for someone, I would have access to this under this tab. So in this profile, there isn't anything active. I'm not a mentor for someone, but if I am marked as a mentor for someone else embarking on a PDP journey, I have easy access to everything. They would have a complete list of my mentees, the individuals embarking on the development journey, where they are, so I can easily help them and easily give the feedback as needed. Now we get to the coaching. Now, this is actually, we could have an entire webinar just about this, because there's so much value just in this little block here, but we wanted to make it easily accessible for individual on their personal portal. What happens here is, underneath the coaching umbrella, I now have access to embark on a coaching journey with a Shadowmatch coach. So we have an entire coaching platform where coaches would link to the system and use the Shadowmatch principles in their coaching. There's a variety of programs. You'll see them on the screen now. And on this, I can then start my coaching journey to say, okay, tell me more about this program. What is coaching? What is the value of it? It explains to me, listen, if I'm feeling at this stage that life is tough, what would be the value for me as to embark on a coaching journey? Or if I'm feeling, you know what, everything's going well, I'm happy, I just want to go to that next level, I want to up myself and go from good to great, how would that look? How would coaching benefit me? The coaching areas we focus on is career coaching, study method coaching, fulfillment coaching, PDP coaching, relationship coaching. So this is then, if you say, listen, that PDPs, those personal development programs, for instance, I want to take that to the next level by partnering with someone who is a professional coach in this to really give me the full value out of this program. Then I can do a PDP with the help of a coach. But if I don't say, no, my focus or my need isn't to develop a specific habit, I at this point want to do fulfillment coaching to help me sort out my life. If any need that I need to identify, I can embark on a fulfillment journey there. Now, the great thing is all the information is there. So I'm not going to zone in on every one of these, because you'll see on your personal portal, there would always be a great information video explaining what is fulfillment coaching, why should you embark on this journey, who benefits from this. There's a great program outline explaining to you what it is. So all of the programs are open or explained there. And if you want to trigger this and go over to action, you can simply click on find a coach, and there you go. You can choose the coach of preference. So by activating a Shadowmatch personal portal, you get access to the whole coaching journey to say, okay, if I want to embark on coaching, which program would I want to choose? And you can action it and choose a coach directly on your personal portal. Great. Now, our second last one is the relationships. Now, this, I want to have the same intro comment here, is we could actually have an entire webinar just around this, because underneath the relationships tab, there's so much value for an individual. What opens up here? underneath relationships, it opens up access to relationship reports. With this, we're going back to the habits. So once again, the construct we're working with here is the habits. So what happens with the Shadowmatch relationship reports is you can then combine two individuals in a report to help you understand how those habits operate in that unique relationship. So same story as always, a nice explanation video here. What relationship reports are they? Where do I focus here? There are 8 different relationship reports, everything from work, friendship, family, love, marriage, staying together, parent-child, teacher-student. If I want to invite someone, I simply click on invite someone, complete their details, and this would then trigger the invite. I'll explain that a bit more in just a moment. What is the relationship report? It would compare the two individuals' habits in the capacity of that relationship to help them understand what does it mean where our habits are similar, where they're different, and where they're very different. And what does it mean in the capacity of being colleagues or of being spouses, of being a parent and a child. So it takes the unique nuances in that specific type of relationship to help you understand it. Because responsiveness between colleagues means something different between spouses. So it really informs that unique dynamic of that relationship. And it's going to help you to say, okay, understand the relationship that both individuals feel valued. And remember, it's going to be unique for each of the different individuals combined, because it's the unique habits of the one individual, the unique habits of the other individual informing this report. Now, on a serious note, this is a great resource to really understand a relationship and to help manage that relationship. But your relationship doesn't have to be troubled to get value out of this. If it's a great friendship or a great family relationship, there's so much value also in reading this report, understanding it, and getting that full value out of it. So that's why I mentioned that comment at the start, is if you now understand a personal portal, listen, by explaining to someone else to complete the Shadowmatch worksheet, they will get access to this. So they can then manage all of the relationships in their life, be it a teacher-student relationship or a difficult relationship with a teenager at this stage, whatever it might be, the relationship reports would help them to support that. Now, if you invite someone, it's going to take you to your card and you can link it from there. I'm going to show you at the very end the whole card function, but it's simply click, complete their details, and off you go. And you can activate the report that you requested. And then the last thing before we do that is now Stressmapper. Now, Stressmapper is fresh, as in it was launched yesterday. So you'll still see the little bright sparkles on it. So Stressmapper, the same as with Skills Grid, is a separate worksheet from Shadowmatch. So you can simply just do Stressmapper. You don't have to, if you never know about your habits, never know about your skills or any of the other things I've said today, you can simply just do Stressmapper if that is your need. You can obviously compare it here. You'll see now why we've grouped it under the personal portal, the personal wellness portal for an individual to engage with for their own personal wellness journey. What is Stressmapper? It's a worksheet where I can understand what is currently happening in my life stress-wise. So it's a complete visual map of what are the stressors, what is the intensity of stress in my life. Now, just a comment before I open up the result. In all of the data management and all of the privacy policy things at Shadowmatch, we are very strict and we're very, very proud of how secure everything is. Even more so with Stressmapper, you would complete the worksheet explaining to you what's currently happening in your life. So the questions in the worksheet would ask you, okay, explain your setup at home in the sense that do you feel secure in your home? Do you feel, is there fear in that in your living space? Are you comfortable in your living space? Is it all of the variety of options of what that specific facet of your life would be? No one ever is going to see the answers to your questions. Not us, no, not the developers. It goes into the system, and all that we see on the other side are the numbers. What we mean by this is the unique combination of answers you selected. The system translates that to the numbers that informs your score at the end. That's all that's on the database. No one ever sees what happens with the questions that inform. What's the value of Stressmapper to you? It's that map that you understand. Okay, what is the stress currently in my life, to help you to take action and just say, okay, what am I going to do? Let's go over and now fix this if there's something that you want to fix. So let's open up Stressmapper. This would then be the same as of the others, a unique intensity gauge for every individual. Currently, this individual has this specific combination of stress levels. I'll quickly talk you through the segments. We have work, home, relationship, operations, body, safety, and financial. So these are the segments of stress that we've identified in the research to say, let's understand these specific segments and how these areas contribute to your overall stress. Now, we're breaking it up in sections, but we know stress doesn't work like that. It doesn't come with a little box to say, oh, this stress is only allocated here. Stress intertwines and flows and goes through everything. So it does focus on these areas, but it helps you to understand what the overall stress level for you as an individual is. In this scenario, the stress levels are at the moderate range, nothing over the line there, nothing going into the high level, some of them very low. So the overall stress for this individual is at this level here. Now see how nice and interactive this is to help me to understand that unique stance for me immediately. So if I want to click on, okay, what's happening here with relationships? Click on relationships, and now I understand, listen, my unique level of stress for this segment of my life. What's happening here? A great video that explains to me what does this section mean, and this whole story here would then be unique depending on my stress level for that. If I go back to my graph, I can say, okay, listen, there's a specific red flag, for instance, that was highlighted in this section. What is the red flag? What did it mean? In the report, it explains, okay, why did we put this red flag in relationship? Whatever was measured in the worksheet, whatever my combinations of answers were, triggered this specific red flag. And now my report helps me to understand that. So you see the amazing value for understanding personal wellness, crafting that wellness journey to say, if I have this information, if I as a coach of an individual, or I as an individual have access to this to say, listen, now we have the map. We have the what is going on. What do we fix? And Shadowmatch, you know, we're never going to tell us a story and tell us again of the hurts. And if your tire is flat, it doesn't help to see, okay, it was a screw that went into the tire. That's why it's flat. You still haven't changed your tire. We're in the business of let's change the tire that you can go on the road trip and enjoy life. So this is then we can see which of the tires are a bit flatter, which needs a bit of lifting, and what is our game plan that we embark on. So this is Stressmapper. So this is also something it's recently launched. As I said, it's launched yesterday, but this is a personal resource. Only you have access to this. No one else will see your Stressmapper results. And obviously no one else would see the answers to the question as I've explained. Okay, so that's the foundation. We've talked through all of the circles. Now, what are the other funky things on my personal portal? I can give this value to someone else by inviting them to also complete a Stressmapper, for instance, or by inviting them to do a relationship report with me. So if I say, listen, Stressmapper, I want to invite someone else, I simply say invite someone, and then it will automatically add the item to the cart once I've completed their details. So I'm just going to put in my own email address. Remember, I'm Tanya. So Tanya is inviting, there we go, Suzanne to complete her own Stressmapper. So Stressmapper, I'm not going to have access to the other individual Stressmapper. Why am I doing this? I'm Tanya's friend, and I want to give her access to this valuable resource. I've seen it on my personal portal. I say, listen, I think Suzanne will value of this. I want to share this with her, and I'm adding it to her. So if I've completed the details, it will be added to the cart, and I can then add anything. So my cart, you know how online shopping works. I can put in a million little things in each of these sections. And then at the end, if I go to the cart, I can then simply pay by the payment profile of choice. So international or local, whatever your preference is, it will go and you can pay it. For today, we're not gonna pay it. Fortunately, my credit card says not today. It's close to the end of the month for me. Joking. So anyway, so that's how easy the new personal portal is to you simply add the item, it goes to the cart, and you automatically do the payment directly. On your personal portal, you can also change your account. So my account, I'm Tanya Goldman, I'm logged in to my personal portal. If I click on my account, I can go and update any of my details. I can go and update or choose a profile photo of my choice. And if I want to edit any of the details, I simply click on edit details, and I'll be able to edit it. What is great is I'll be able to edit my own email address. So if your email address changed or you've completed it on a work email and you're now not in that company anymore, or whatever the reason might be, you have hands-on access here to go and edit your email address, and it will automatically link all of your Shadowmatch resources to that new email address you provide. Okay, so that's the awesome new personal portal. Please go and play around. If you have completed the Shadowmatch worksheet, you would have access to this, or if you have embarked on any of these journeys, you would automatically have access to the personal portal. You'll see the ones that are active for this individual is shown, it's bold. The ones that are gray mean I haven't activated anything there. So I know I can still get more value if I click on it. The last thing I just want to show you is your notifications. If something happened, someone invited you for something, or a new report was triggered somewhere, you'll automatically have a notification there. So you'll easily be communicated, see, oh, you have a new worksheet invite, or someone has requested a relationship report, everything under the notifications tab. And then just the last comment on the Stressmapper, as I've mentioned, is you can do this completely independent. So if you just want to understand Stressmapper and share that value, you can go to stressmapper.com, and there you can just get Stressmapper directly. You can either request it for yourself, or you can request it for others. Click on the link and off you go. You'll see it's quick and easy and amazing. The value that you see, the same as with the other things, is there's a great explanation video to say, what is Stressmapper? What is the value for that specific individual? Okay, thanks, Lizette. That's then everything from my side. Back to you.
Right, thank you very much, Suzanne. There were no questions in the chat, just wow and fantastic when we look at the new portal and Stressmapper. This is really a wonderful value add, and I think we can really give our dev team and everybody working behind the scenes a round of applause. Yes, it's really nice. So what we will be doing is we are going to start with campaigns to the entire database. Obviously, firstly, to all the users, which are you people who have access to Shadowmatch from a consultant or client perspective, using the system for your company or for your business. So there will be an email probably going out sometime this week still about Stressmapper, informing you about Stressmapper and how it works. And then the idea is then to go to the entire database, starting with people who have recently completed Shadowmatch, to make them aware of the value of the new portal as well as Stressmapper that is available to them. So I think just to conclude before we open for questions, as Suzanne rightly showed, Stressmapper.com is a standalone website. So if somebody has never heard of Shadowmatch and you want them to do Stressmapper, don't confuse them. Just use Stressmapper.com and tell them, go to Stressmapper.com and buy your Stressmapper questionnaire. It's not linked to Shadowmatch in any way. There's no link. So they can do Stressmapper and they never have to know about Shadowmatch. Even if a company now wants to use Stressmapper, they will have to either tell individuals to go to their portal to get their own Stressmapper, or they have to go to Stressmapper.com and purchase the Stressmapper questionnaires from there. We will be able to assist the company if they do want to do a bulk send to individuals and say, I want to send 500 Stressmappers to my entire employee base. Then obviously we will get them to, we will get them to pay the invoice. And as soon as they have paid the invoice, we will then in the back end trigger the 500 Stressmapper invitations, keeping in mind that the company will see nothing. I think this is quite important just from a company and from a user perspective. The company will pay for it because it's a value add to their employees. Just like a company pays for the medical aid for their employees, they don't have insight into your medical conditions. When do you visit the doctor and what's the report from the doctor? But they do still do your monthly contributions for your medical aid. So this is the same thing. It's a value add for the well-being of employees. And this is just important. If you do get questions from companies, they will never get to see the results of an individual's Stressmapper unless the individual shares it with them. If somebody says, I want to share my report with my manager, 100% they can do that, because it's then the individual deciding to share their results and not the company just having access to that results. Thanks, Suzanne. I think it was a very thorough walkthrough on all the new functionalities on the personal portal. A lot of them were on the portal, so it's just a nice, fresh look and feel, and I think it's easy to navigate and to see what is available. I think that's what we see already from the feedback is that it's easy to see what's available, what do I have, what don't I have, and what do I want to purchase. Please just keep in mind the last comment before I open for questions, that obviously the pricing differs from country. So the system is clever enough to know that you are signing into your portal and you are living in the United States. So your pricing will look different to the rand. You will see it in dollars and you will see it in pounds if you are in the UK. So the system is clever enough to adjust the pricing that you will pay when you put the items in your cart, and when you check out, it will be adjusted to your currency and to the pricing applicable for your country. The same for Stressmapper. So if you go to stressmapper.com, the system is clever enough to see where you are located, and then the prices will populate not in rand but in dollars. And you make use of the McDonald's index. We've said this before. So obviously it's not going to be a direct conversion from rand to dollar, but it's more or less the same when we look at the value. Great. I think from my side, that's all. Let me enable the setting for you to unmute your microphones. Great, you can do that now. So you're welcome to ask questions, show of hands, or just unmute. I'll keep an eye on the screen. Yes, Richard, welcome. You're welcome to go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me? All right. We part of HR, so obviously we've got the corporate one, which I just had a quick look at before the thing started. Yours was based on personal, but I'm looking at the corporate one. So I understand. I like the one where you said your what was the one with your skill sets. I'd like to see my employees' skill sets. So I can say to them, listen, you're a brilliant this, why aren't you performing? Or you know, is it part of this, the corporate one? That's question one. And then I also understand the stress thing is we can encourage the people to go on the stress test, and then if they want to, they can share the stresses with us, so we can assist them. Let's say the guy's in financial dire straits and his work is being affected by it. Is there no way that you can say, listen, I'm paying for the stress test, you do it, I want the result, I want to see where your stresses are, or how can you go around that?
Okay, I'll just answer, then I'm going to hand to Suzanne. Richard, to start with your first question, there's obviously a business view of Shadowmatch, and then there's the personal portal for each individual. So yes, 100%, the business gets access to all the Shadowmatch and all the skills grid results, and Suzanne will show you what you see from the business side. With regards to Stressmapper, no, you can only see the results if you ask the individual to give you the results from their Stressmapper. What we will be launching towards the beginning of next year is if more than 10 people in your company have completed Stressmapper, the business will be able to get a consolidated stress graph for the company. You will never see the individuals, but you will be able to see for the business that our business, the highest stress in our business is financial, and then you can start to troubleshoot. Are we not paying our people enough? Do we need to give them training on how to manage their budgets? So that will be coming in the future, where a business will be able to see a consolidated map of the stress in their company. So it will be one graph, and you will not be able to see the wood from the tree. So you won't be able to dissect and say, oh, I think this is Suzanne's stress. It will just be one graph, and everybody will be consolidated into that graph. So that will be available for a business, but never for a business to see the individual's stress unless they share that. So I think let me hand to Suzanne just to show you the skills from a business perspective, and then we can continue with the questions. Thanks, Suzanne.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Can I see the skill sets on the business one?
Yes, that's what Suzanne is going to show you now.
And then I wanted to just come back to the stress thing. If I'm paying for it and the guy's work is being affected by him being stressed out financially, and don't I have some sort of a leverage on the guy to say, listen, I'm paying for the test, I want to see what's ticking in your head so that I can assist you. If it's a financial thing, let's deal with it. If it's a relational thing with your wife, let's deal with it. But I want to know what it's about, so that I can assist you.
If it's between you and the employee, if the employee wants to share it with you, yes, but that's not got nothing to do with us, then you can say to them, listen, guys, and remember, they can still say no. And all the videos are quite straightforward on that, to say this is your result, it's confidential, you never have to share it with anyone. So you can't force them. But then in the same breath, if they are really stressed, then they must be able to share their medical reports and the report that they got from the doctor with you as well, and that the lady got from the gynecologist. And I don't think that's fair. So I think it's something between you and the employees, but it's something that's personal. But you will be able, if you look at the skills and you look at the Shadowmatch and you look at how the individual matches the Shadowmatch benchmark of the top performers, you will be able to see just by means of their comparison to people that are doing well in your organization, where they lack skills, where they might be lacking the development on specific behavioral patterns, the habits. And remember, the coaching is available. So if somebody is really stressed and really struggling in the environment, we have an entire coaching platform with coaches and the PDP and the mentoring that Suzanne showed. So that's available without having to look at the stress map. You can assist people because they will know themselves that I need help. And there's relationship coaching, there's fulfillment coaching. There will also be stress coaching in the near future, where you can then let them contract with a coach to guide them through the areas in their life where they really struggle. So I think at this point, let's show you the skills from the business side. Suzanne, I'm just scared that we're going to run out of time.
Yeah, Suzanne, just a quick one also. I want to see how you do the benchmarks. I want to set a benchmark. This is the candidate I want.
Great, thanks, Richard. So what I'm showing you now is the business view of Shadowmatch. I'm logged into the Shadowmatch system. The company would set up their organogram. So this is just a fictitious company. So basic few roles identified. In each role, you would then set up a benchmark for that role. You would set up a benchmark for your Shadowmatch habits, and you would set up a benchmark for skills grid. Let's do skills grid first. So for skills grid, if I go to my skills grid benchmark, you would see I've now invited the top performers in this specific role. So in sales, I've invited them individually to complete their skills grid worksheet. And now the system combines that result to say, let's get a map or a context profile of what are the skills needed to be successful in this job. Now here you have two sections to the measurement. You would have the skills level, so indicated by the number of blocks that are completed, as well as the priority of the skill. So is it not necessary for a job all the way to where it's a critical skill? For instance, the verbal skills is a highly skilled level and it's critical for the specific set. So the essence of the benchmark is you would have that unique map of what are the skills combinations for this specific role in my environment. You have that in place. Now you can start comparing. So if you would compare your applicants or your employees, they would also complete the skills grid worksheet. And then let me just change this thing here. Let's see, well, I'm on Shadowmatch, no wonder. If I'm switching to skills grid, then I can open up, where's this one? We'll see, let's see. Now I can open up an individual compared to a skills grid benchmark, and the system will automatically highlight the areas where the biggest concern is. So now I can say, listen, this is where we should focus on. So now obviously, this can be any individual's data linked to it. If it's an employee, we craft the journey for development to say, we need to start developing the skills. What is our game plan? If it's an applicant, we decide, listen, is this a deal breaker? If the skills level is not, this is the comparison. So the system would allow you to do this both ways, mapping your context, understanding your individual skills level, and integrating the data. You do exactly the same on Shadowmatch, where you would then identify the top performers in a specific role. Now, this happens outside of the system. What I mean by this is it's informed by performance. So outside of the system, you say, these are the current top performers in this specific role. Let's say customer support as an example. You invite them to do the Shadowmatch worksheet individually, and the system would create the benchmark. So it's not something of, these are good habits, these are bad habits. Luckily, Shadowmatch don't work with that. They are performing in your environment. And now you're learning from that to say, listen, by their unique combination of habits, we can understand our unique context. And this is what a Shadowmatch benchmark would look like. It would then have the unique intensities of behavioral patterns that work successfully in that environment. Benchmark is dynamic. So you would have one, it's updated to say in 2024, whilst Richard is the manager and we're a hybrid between working remotely and working from the office, whatever, what is our current benchmark? So this would obviously look different for each role in your organization. The more specific you are, the more accurate. Now, good news is there's amazing videos on all of this that explains it to you in detail. Our time for today, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to unpack this further, but that's the essence of it. The benchmark allows you to map a context with habits or with skills, and by comparing an individual's results to that, you can see the congruency or the alignment in that to make an informed decision, either about an applicant or about an employee for the development journey. Okay,
Can you change somebody's skill sets? Can you change somebody's habits?
Great, Lizette, should I answer on you?
Yes, you can go, Suzanne.
Great. So changing someone's habits would be embarking on the personal development journey, those PDPs. Those are the programs that actually, develop that specific habit. It's tough because you're asking your brain to learn new patterns, but the program does that. So if the individual embarks on that, it has happened with the development. Skills are easier to teach. You would then identify the skills area. If it's in Excel, send them on an Excel skills course. If it's in presenting, send them on a course how to present. So a skill is easier to learn. A habit is a bit tougher to learn, but the PDPs, that's specifically what they have in mind, is to learn a specific new habit.
Can you actually change somebody's behavior? Is it possible? Does it work?
It's very difficult. And that's why if you use Shadowmatch and you do recruitment with Shadowmatch, if you have your benchmark of your top performers, we suggest that you employ people that are matching your benchmark. If somebody is a 2 or a 3 out of 10 match to the benchmark, you might be able to change the habits, but it's going to take 7 years because it takes, and it might not change. So that's why Shadowmatch says, work with what the system shows you. That's why we work with a benchmark of people that are already successful in the environment, because they have the natural patterns that fit the culture and the management style and the context. So if you then have a recruitment drive and you find people that have a similar habit pattern already, the chances of them becoming successful is very high. But if somebody's habits are different to your successful people, they might struggle to become successful because the culture and the management style is not suitable to their natural patterns. What we want to do with the development programs is we want to say, you have people in your environment that are not cutting it. They are struggling. It's normal because we employ people and then they just struggle. So what Shadowmatch says is take those individuals, firstly, see if you can redeploy them to areas in the business where their habits are better suited. If you can't, then we say, but let's start with development. You know what? If you change one habit, it might impact the others. And remember, you're never going to change a habit from 10 points to 50 points. Ain't going to happen. It's very difficult to change an existing pattern. You can learn a new habit. It's very difficult to unlearn an already strong, established pattern in your behavior. What I want to say, Richard, I'm not sure, I think you are one of our existing clients. The Shadowmatch training that the users do, and I'm sure you've got access to the Shadowmatch training, covers all of this in great detail. So if you haven't got access to the training, then Charmaine can maybe just make sure that we send you the reminder or the link. But the need help videos on the system is also there to your disposal. But we've got 20 videos as part of the user training. And everything that Suzanne now showed you in terms of the skills map and the benchmark and how it's compared and how you can redeploy people, all of that is covered in the training. And the training is there to equip you to really understand the system end to end so that you can unlock the value in your environment. So Charmaine says shop, she will send you the link just to make sure that you can maybe just refresh your own memory on some of those specific principles. But thanks, very good questions. And I think it was learning for everyone in the meeting today. Let's see, we've got about 6 minutes left. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Almar.
Hi, Lizette. Hello, Susanne. Everybody. Hi, everybody. Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice addition to the system. I'm very excited. I have one question on the coaching, on the PDPs. So if as a client or an employer, we let the individuals go into the portal, we want them to choose the PDP that they are interested in, and we also want them to choose an external coach. So they would then be able to connect to that external coach, choose someone that they want to use. I just have a question on the practicalities of the payment. if that happens, will that external individual then basically provide a quote to this person, and that relates back to business? How will that, if you can just give me an idea of how that would work? So yeah, because the business, I'm speaking from a business perspective. I have a project now coming up where we'll have 3 people that can choose their own coaches, but the business will pay for the coaches. How do we navigate that?
Great. I'll comment, and if Suzanne wants to add, you're welcome, Suzanne. So Elmar, from a business perspective, the best is to do the bulk PDP request, because if the company wants to obviously, if they make use of, let me just take 3 steps back. If they want to make use of external coaches, then the company needs to contract with those external coaches and negotiate a fee with the external coaches, and then do a bulk PDP request on the Shadowmatch system. And when they do the bulk PDP request, there's a section where they can say, you can choose mentors from this list. And then the company needs to, on that list, put the names of the coaches which they have negotiated a fee with. So then the company then pays the coach. The individual gets the benefit from choosing one of the coaches on the list or mentors on the list. In the Shadowmatch system, it's referred to as a mentor and not a coach, but I think from the PDP side, it's pretty much the same function. So the important thing is the company needs to decide. If they don't want to pay for the development, then they can still purchase the PDPs, but then they can say to the individual, choose your own mentor, and it's for your own account. So that's something the company needs to decide upfront. We are going to pay for the PDPs, the program itself, but we're also going to pay for the mentor or the coach. So the company can then decide, we're only going to make use of internal mentors. Then they put a list, and there's an option, and Suzanne can maybe just quickly share screen and show you. There's an option where the company says, choose your own mentor. Then you must remember there's no way to negotiate a fee, because I can go and choose the most expensive executive coach in Gauteng. And then, so that's a bit risky. But if the company says choose from our list, they can then go. And even if they then want to make use of the Shadowmatch coaches, they can contact these Shadowmatch coaches, negotiate a fee with them and say, listen, can I put your name on the list? This is the company, and this is what we are prepared to pay per individual, and they can negotiate the fee. I hope it answers your question. Suzanne, maybe you just want to share screen and show, and then if it's not answering, Elmar, then you can come back.
Sure, great. Elmar, you find the bulk PDP in your main menu, yeah, the left maroon menu, if your setting is on maroon. If you click on PDPs, it allows you to basically in one shot invite a variety of individuals, so either a section or the entire company. So this is where you would choose the individuals, choose the type of PDP, select the PDPs. So you can, for instance, also group the PDPs to say, are they choosing from all 20 of them, or is there strategic development in mind? You've selected resilience and innovation and leadership, and everybody chooses from then. But the part you now asking about is in the select mentors option. You can then either say the individual chooses their own mentor. That would then be open. As I said, it would open up the risk to say anybody can be added there, and you wouldn't be able to manage the cost. So you would rather say, I choose the mentor, I'm the person completing this form. If I choose the mentor, then I add the list of mentors here. And then who you would be adding here would then be the mentors you have agreed upon with the company to say, so it's Zet and Suzanne and Elmar, the in-house coaches or the external coaches or mentors that will be embarking, and then you would add the details there, and automatically that would populate once the individual is invited to complete a PDP. On their side, they will only see that list, and they choose from the list you added here on this screen.
Thanks, Suzanne. Elmar, does that answer your question?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much. Dankie.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dankie. Okay, we've got one last minute before our hour has run out. It actually was quite fast. Sometimes time goes slowly, but this was quite before we knew the hour was finished. Any other questions or comments? Just last round. Please remember that you don't have to wait for these sessions. You're welcome to send us an email to info@shadowmatch.co.za or info@shadowmatch.com, and we can then help you. And please remember, dear participants, a last comment. Before you send that email, just go and click on the Need Help button. It's very clever. It's searchable. So if you click on Need Help and in the search field you say worksheets, then everything to do with worksheets will come up. How to send a worksheet, how to delete a worksheet. If you type archive, anything with regards to how to archive results. If you click benchmark, if you type benchmark, if Suzanne now shows, click on need help and she says benchmark, anything to do with benchmarking will come up top of list. All these videos are short, 2 to 3 minutes in their time duration, maybe a little bit longer, some of them, but that's your on-hand training resource. Please make use of it. It took quite a lot of time to get that up and running, and we are adding as we go along. So this whole personal portal part will also now be added. As soon as we've downloaded the recording and edited, it will also be added to that need help function. I think with that, thank you very much for attending. Thanks, Suzanne, for the presentation. Thanks for all of you. It's always easier to present if we have a nice audience. So it was great. We look forward to the next one where we will meet again, either in person or on screen. We trust that you will have a great week and go well. Cheers, everyone.